Hey guys, and welcome back to another PFF interview. Today I have my friend Shannon with me. Shannon, where can we find you?
So I'm on Instagram. It's going to be at Boho Dreams Closet. And then I'm also on YouTube. It's Boho Dreams Closet as well. And then my Poshmark is Boho_dreams.
Love it. I'm going to link all those below for a quick, easy clicks that you guys can find her easily. How long have you been reselling for?
So I actually joined Poshmark in 2014, but I was mostly just selling my own stuff. So I would say about a year later, I started reselling. I actually started on Etsy. I was taking, I don't know if anybody remembers this trend, but like with the graphic tees where you would cut out like a V in the front and then put like lace up in it. And then I also was doing the wholesale portal in Poshmark at that time. But now that I've gone full time for about a year, I'm also on eBay and Mercari.
Before we even get into talking about Poshmark, I need you to talk about this T-Rex purse that you found. First, because it's amazing. Second, because it's the most incredible flip ever. I'm going to put a graphic right here, friends. Look at this.
Yeah, so I actually found that at a Plato's Closet. So they posted it on their Instagram probably like 2 weeks before I went and bought it. And I remember like I was not going for that purse because it was out of town. It was about an hour and a half away from me. But it's one of my favorite stores. And so I went and I bought all this stuff. And then I get up to the front and they keep their like designer purses behind the counter. And I saw it and I was just like, I don't love Kate Spade, but that thing is like pretty cool. I'll just like pick it up. We'll just see what happens. So I got it and I listed it. I went and looked and they'd all sold for over $500. Within about a week, it sold for $500. I could have sold it for more, but I was terrified that I was going to like break it or something. So I just like let go of it. And I've kicked myself ever since because there was a purple, I think, rhinoceros bag at Plato's Closet as well that I could have sold for just as much money, but it was gone by the time that I realized it. Yeah. So that was my biggest flip to date. And that was probably like 2 years ago, maybe a little bit more.
That's so incredible. With Plato's Closet, that's a consignment store. Do you find yourself mostly going into consignment stores, or is it a mix of both thrift stores?
Yeah, so I live in Austin. For a little bit of backstory, and the Goodwills here have gotten just as pricey, if not more expensive than Plato's Closet. It's getting pretty ridiculous. I remembered I picked up some like super old Lululemon leggings and they were like $60. I was like, what is going on? So I didn't used to, but now I am kind of veering more towards the Plato's Closets and stuff. And here we also have Salvation Army, and I love Salvation Army because it's a lot cheaper. But I would say that, yeah, I'm probably mostly going into Plato's Closets at this point because you can build up 20% discounts as well, and those come in handy.
So when you go into a thrift store or a Plato's Closet, what's the first section that you're going to go check out?
So I am like drawn towards the sweaters, which is a problem because I live in Texas and it's like 1,000 degrees here, 10 months out of the year. But I still usually source those almost year round because they are my bestseller. And everybody just seems to always want them, whether it's to wear outside or wear around the house. Beyond that though, I would say probably like maxi dresses and shoes are my favorites.
I want to talk about sweaters a little bit because this is an answer that I haven't really gotten a lot of. What are your favorite brands when it comes to sweaters?
So definitely Free People, but Free People is my favorite brand for everything, so who's surprised? But honestly, whenever it comes to sweaters, I don't even necessarily pay that much attention to the brand. As long as it's like oversized and chunky and like maybe cable knit or like a pretty, like a nice cream color, it always just like flies out of my closet. I don't know why. I've never really been able to pin that down. But I would say that when it comes to sweaters, it's one of those things that as long as it's a good quality and it's a good piece, the brand doesn't matter all that much.
I think that's really good insight. I think style is so important and not talked about enough. Talking about style, I want to talk about how you style your photos, because I always ask people if they like flat lay, hanger, mannequin, but you actually model your listings. Do you find that to be more profitable when you post pictures of yourself?
Yeah, so I do. And also shout out to you because I love your model photos too. They're so cute.
Thank you.
You've like somehow made like the basic bedroom mirror picture into this like super like fancy pretty thing, and I love it. So there's a few different reasons. Number one, I would say that it helps people see how it fits. Everybody wants to know, because things either look really great or really terrible on a hanger. And I found that the things that look really terrible on a hanger look really great on the person. And the things that look really great on a hanger don't always look really great on a person. So that is one like issue that I have when shopping. So I like to see it on a person. And I think that's kind of a universal opinion. And beyond that, having a cover photo that is unique to you is so important, because otherwise, like, I mostly sell free people, and some people think I'm kind of wacko for that because it's such an oversaturated brand. But since I have my unique cover photos in the feed, then it stands out, and people will see, 4 or 5 listings from me, and it's obviously me because the photos are the same. And then they go to my closet and they make a bundle. So I would say that I actually used to model my clothes, and then I went to just flat lays. When I was originally modeling my clothes, I was in my college apartment and my lighting was not great, and I had like a dark gray wall and, and all the bad things that you're not supposed to do. And so I went just to flat lays, and that worked really well for me. But then once I moved here, I started modeling again, and my sales like skyrocketed compared to what they used to be. And I think part of it too is you can make the garment look appealing with the way that you're standing and the way that it's, shaped around you, and all of that good stuff. Which I know that not everybody can model their clothes. So that being said, the stuff that I can't model, I will do like hanging photos for larger objects, and then flat lays for smaller items.
I love that. I completely agree with the bundle comment that you made. I have made so many more bundles since I started actually modeling images. But I want to ask you a couple questions that I get asked all the time since I've started modeling. So the first one you kind of just answered, because you said that you have a substitute if it doesn't fit you.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is, do you ever have people try to make returns because they don't like the way that it looks on them compared to the way that it looked in your photo on you?
So I think that I've had some people try to say that like it doesn't fit them. Like, so in my descriptions I say my height and my bust size, because those are the most common questions that I get, so I just throw them in there. So I've had some people I think try to say like, oh, I'm the same exact size as this person, why doesn't it fit me? And I'm always covered on that, because if something is too big on me but I make it look like it fits me, I make sure to include in the description and in the photos like where it's too big on me and where it doesn't fit. So I mean, I think for the most part I've been able to avoid that. That being said though, you're always going to have people that are just going to try to make a case because they don't like it and they want to return it. So you can't always avoid stuff like that with anything you do.
If you had to find one brand that you've never found before, or maybe you even found it before, what is like the most sought after brand for you?
Probably Spell and Gypsy Collective.
What about brands that used to move really well for you but no longer? Or maybe even it could even go into styles, because I know you sell a lot of free people, so brands or styles that just no longer really move.
Yeah, so I used to be really heavy into dresses, and now I'm kind of finding that really only maxi dresses are the ones that move super quick for me, or like basic dresses, like t-shirt dresses and like cozy stuff. Nobody's really looking for like the short, tight, night out dresses in my closet, I guess. And then on top of that, I used to pick up a lot of boutique brands because I lived in a college town that had a tiny mall and just a bunch of boutiques. And it used to move pretty well for me, but then it just kind of like fell off and stopped moving. So I've stopped picking up the stuff that isn't really well-known brands.
Yeah, that's good input. I want to take a moment to focus on your Instagram because I wish I would have been following you sooner. Like the minute I saw it, for those who've never seen her closet before, it is just this beautiful collection of yellow things. And for those who haven't ever seen my classroom photo, I have a giant yellow reading chair, and it's just like the best accent of my classroom. And she has a whole freaking yellow couch, and the aesthetics are amazing. So I want to talk about how Instagram has played a role in your reselling business.
Yeah. So first of all, yellow is my favorite color. I just think it's such a happy and fun color. But so I would say that my Instagram has helped a lot because, you know, I do get a lot of sales through there. I always post my new arrivals in my stories after I photograph them. So I sell a lot of stuff before I even get around to listing it in my closet initially. So that helps a lot. And then beyond that, just like the actual like recognition and trust that comes with having something like that behind you. Just people are a lot more eager to buy from me because they know that I'm going to give them a good product. And they just don't, I mean, you know, it's kind of like buying from a brand new seller who doesn't understand what you're supposed to disclose on Poshmark and what you're supposed to sell versus buying from someone who like obviously has been doing this for a while and like here is this account that proves it. So it's helped me a lot. That being said though, like I didn't really get heavy into Instagram until probably like the last year going full time, just because it's fun for me. It's kind of like a little outlet. So I don't recommend it to new sellers to like really invest too much time in that because that's something that you need to do after you really focus on building up your Poshmark closet.
I think that's good advice. I've told people in the past to start in the IG community right away, but I think hearing that info, I think that's a really good point of maybe starting in the IG community as almost a ghost member where you're consuming things and then building up part of like building that brand once you feel really comfortable with your own closet. I think that
Yeah, I just think that, you know, it's just like the concept of like followers don't get you money, but like sales do. So like, you know, obviously be out there and be involved because you can get so much great advice on Instagram, but like just don't worry super hard about where your Instagram account is at until you're happy with your Poshmark account.
Let's highlight some other people from your community. Who are some just gems that really stick out to you that have helped you along the way?
Live Shop Margot on Instagram. She actually gave me really good advice. She used to work in the retail industry, and she said that one thing that her boss told her was, if you notice your email inbox flooded with a bunch of sales, that's because no one is making money right now in the retail industry. So it's not just you. Like, you know, you're okay, you're doing fine. I have my Austin girls here that I see all the time and I love. Ashley, which is at Everyday Style on Instagram and Poshmark. And then there's Sam, who's Style Hunt ATX, and Zoe, who's Fashion on the Side. And they are like my Austin gals. We get together and we have puzzle nights where we do puzzles and drink wine and just decompress. And we go on thrifting trips and stuff. And then beyond that, and I will say that that's another big thing about the community. When I moved here, I knew no one, and they reached out to me, and I was able to make friends just because of Poshmark. So that's huge. And then just a few others that aren't here and that I actually still have not met. Well, I did meet one of them in real life at PoshFest. But there's Olivia, which is at @OliviaSickle_art. She is still in school, so she's not full-time, but she's just so sweet, and she made graphics for me for free just because she just wanted to do something, and I just love her to death. And then there's Regina, which a lot of people know at Basic Posh Babe. She used to be New York Posher, and she's just so sweet. I just love her. So those are probably some of my favorites. I could tell you a million more though. So
Sure, yeah. Well, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to link them in the comment below, everyone, so that you can easily go and find her community and support them as well. Shannon, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to meet with me. It's been so awesome getting to talk to people during this quarantine. I'm sure you feel that as well. Yeah, it's just been such an awesome time getting to hear everything that goes into your Posh business. And I'm just so thankful that I got to talk to you today.
oh, well, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so happy to be a part of this. This is awesome.
Absolutely. Bye.